there's a hurricane coming, which means you should probably get ready to shelter in place. Get some snacks, get a radio, get some flashlight, batteries, and your favorite podcast, specifically this one.
Are you ready? If you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya. What's up? I'm awesome. Hello, ladies. Hey, ladies. Hey, really? Really? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yowie, wowie. Like mom. Baby. To believe that.
Hi, everybody. I'm John of the 2 Words Podcast. And with me, as always, is my tag partner, Radio Matt. Radio Matt, how you doing today?
I am almost better.
Almost better.
Almost better.
Well,
You'll
that's
still hear me
good.
cough a little bit, I'm sure, but
Well, that's
I'm
good. Well, we have, I want to say a huge show, but it's actually a nice little show. Because today we're talking about little guys. All of our favorite smaller wrestlers.
Teeny
They're not teeny people.
teeny people.
So if you're Randy Newman, you probably want to turn away. Because Randy Newman wrote that really awful song about short people.
That's right.
Just, have you ever listened to that song?
Not in a while.
Like read the lyrics
No.
and it's
Is it bad?
it's rough. Like it is. Even for the 70s, it was a very just hate-filled song. And then somehow they still asked him to do Toy Story. But anyway, well, that's gonna be for later. But first, what's up with Cody Rhodes?
Yeah. So interesting stuff. Interesting stuff while we've been away.
Is he going? Is he not going?
Oh, almost certainly. I am 90% sure that the whole Edge segment this past Monday was teasing the
Was a
fact
build
that
up to that?
it's going to be Cody versus Edge. Because what else would Cody do? If Cody's going to come back before WrestleMania,
It's
they're
gotta
not going
be
to put him.
hot.
They're not going to put him in a title picture. They're going to have to find another big match. Can't just be come back and fight the Miz. No one wants that. Not
I'd
for
watch
his
that.
first, not for his first match back. I'm not saying to be a bad match, but that's
Yeah.
not a big match. That's not a WrestleMania match. That's not a comeback from AEW, the company you helped found that has been the only one to put WWE on its heels since the 90s kind of match.
But how does that conversation between him and Triple H go? Like, they just kind of walk in and Triple H has a recreation of the throne that Cody Rhodes broke. And they're like, would you look at that? It's all fixed. I'm
We're
here.
all friends, right?
I don't know. I think Cody Rhodes going to AEW or going to WWE, like that'd be huge.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a big deal.
But I also thought he really I legitimately thought he hated that company. He did not want to be there.
I thought so too. I think it was more about the creative than it was
Yeah.
the company itself.
Could be.
And because frankly, they just his creative it started okay and then it just spiraled
Yeah.
downward. Like the Stardust wasn't entirely garbage, but it was completely unnecessary
Very unnecessary.
and it did eventually just burn him out.
It was
to
the
where-
opposite
yeah.
of what they needed to do.
Right. So, I mean, I do think that he's established himself as a main eventer now. And if they bring him back and they keep him there, that'd be great. If they bring him back just to ruin him, which I honestly feel like it's a 50-50 chance.
Who knows at this point?
Because WWE doesn't have the best track record of bringing in new talent that are hot somewhere else, even in their own NXT program.
Yeah.
And then not immediately ruining them.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Speaking of the
Yeah.
NXT program, the XFL, which is owned by Dwayne The Rock Johnson,
Are you connecting them just because they both have X's in the
not
title?
necessarily,
Okay.
but the XFL came out and basically said it was going to be a petri dish for the NFL. So they were entering in a
okay. I
deal
see
with the
what you're saying.
NFL.
Yeah.
And they've basically turned the XFL into the NXT of the NFL.
Yeah, which is not a bad idea.
I mean, spring football is always. I mean, anybody that likes fall football will love spring football.
Right.
So I can't help but think like The Rock definitely had something to do with that. I'm like, hey, we should just enter into a deal with millions.
Oh, sure. Because he's been dealing with, he's been working with NFL for a while. And so now that he owns the XFL, it seemed like a natural.
That dude just prints money.
He
does.
He lives and breathes money. He bleeds. He bleeds printer money, ink.
What do you have that's fun this week?
I got a bunch. So Cesaro just quit the WWE.
What?
Today, like a few hours ago from this recording.
Holy Jesus.
And by quit, I mean let his contract fully expire. Meaning he could show up on Dynamite next week. He could show up on whatever the Friday night show is. I forget. What's the name of it?
Rampage.
He could show up on Rampage
That's
if he wanted to. He has no 90-day compete because he let the contract completely expire. They were working on another deal. They just couldn't make a deal. They extended his previous deal earlier the last year before WrestleMania. But everyone assumed that it was like for at least a year or multiple years like normal, but apparently it was only for roughly 9 months.
That's right.
Because it has expired. So he's if I was Tony Khan, that would be one of those no-brainer call him ups right now. But again, you can't keep doing that with every single wrestler that gets released. So. But Cesaro could be.
The problem is that the caliber of wrestler that gets fired, that keeps getting fired, keeps going up.
Mm-hmm. That's true. We got a lot of main eventers that got fired.
Yeah.
On the other side, though, Drake Maverick rehired for the second time after getting fired twice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Drake Maverick.
He's not being put back in as a wrestler, though. He's been rehired as a writer and a producer.
That'd be a dope job.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That would be fun. And let's see, Jeff Hardy is confirmed.
And let's also just say that I feel like not the second time. I feel like he's been fired. I feel like that's his story. Is how many times can we fire and rehire Drake Maverick?
I mean, pretty much.
This is like the third or fourth.
Is it more than twice?
Maybe it's only twice. Maybe it just feels
twice.
Like he's been.
It's only been twice at least with these layoffs that they've done. Jeff Hardy has confirmed that he'll be joining AEW. Buddy Matthews, formerly Buddy Murphy, has joined AEW. Tony Khan has teased a massive announcement coming soon that he signed an NDA for, so he can't talk about it. So a lot has been rumored. The loudest theories state that there's going to be an AEW / New Japan Super Show coming. That AEW is starting its own streaming service, or that Khan might be buying Ring of Honor and making it a part of the AEW family.
I don't see that I don't see buying Ring of Honor as a great idea because you already own Impact. You're already
Impact? He's working with Impact.
You're working with Impact. I don't know. Does Tony Khan?
I don't think he does.
Somebody's got to own Impact. Essentially worthless. So
205 Live, speaking of worthless, has been canceled finally and replaced with NXT Level Up, which now airs on Peacock after SmackDown. But it's still what 205 Live has become, just a lesser extension of NXT. But it's just not focused on cruiserweights, which it hasn't really been entirely focused on cruiserweights the last few months because they had a normal weight, heavyweight win the title.
Yeah.
At one point.
Who won that?
I don't remember who it was now off the top of my head. What about Elimination Chamber?
I liked Elimination Chamber.
It really wasn't all that bad.
Yeah. It was a pay-per-view that moved the storyline forward. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't catch just a heck ton of it.
Yeah, I managed to see the whole thing at a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But like it was pretty good. The women's Elimination Chamber match I thought was fantastic. I liked the women's match, the champion, or well, was it? It wasn't really a championship match, was it?
It was the tag match
with Rousey. Yeah, it was the tag
Yeah.
match. But I thought that was good. I thought Rousey looked really good in that. I thought the the actual championship match with Becky Lynch and Lita was pretty impressive. I think the women's matches were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I do have a fun fact about the men's Elimination Chamber match.
Okay.
So, of course, Bobby Lashley's injured.
Yeah.
He injured his shoulder at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And so they had to play the whole concussion angle at the Elimination Chamber match to get him out of the match and thus get the title off of him. But while Brock was in his little pod, he kept like punching at the fiberglass or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Not fiberglass, but whatever it is, the plastic. And he actually punched a hole through it by accident.
Yeah.
Now, cameras at home couldn't really see this, but he said everybody like in the arena there definitely would have seen it. And so when Bobby's light went off, even though he was already knocked out, and I think even out of the match at that point, gone, Bobby's light went off, he busted through that hole and just like, I'm in the match now. And that was not supposed to happen. That was a decision he made on the fly because he thought all these people see this hole. They know I wouldn't just stay in here. So
That's awesome.
he did that on the fly, and it still wound up being a pretty amazing match. And he about murdered Austin Theory, which I think we all kind of wanted.
I mean, yeah, but why was Austin Theory in the match if not to almost get murdered?
Right. There has to be someone who's sacrificed.
Yeah. Control Your Narrative, which is a wrestling something or other. I don't want to call it promotion, but a wrestling something or other with former WWE employees Ethan Carter III, also known as EC3, and Braun Strowman, or Adam Scherr now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're going to start their own wrestling company with a TV, and they're getting close to a TV deal.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that now that you're mentioning that.
But it's like, it's them.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's like them and Karrion Kross.
Yeah. This feels like shades of WCPW. It's just a bunch of wrestling lovers like, we're going to start our own thing, and it's going to look really janky, but we've got a TV deal. So...
And apparently, Brock Lesnar, struggles with anxiety.
Really?
Yeah, he was on the Pat McAfee show, and I will read the quote, but I will not read it verbatim because it's colorful.
You'll decolor it.
Those who know.
That sounds bad. That sounds like I'm saying the wrong thing, and I apologize for anyone who's offended.
Anybody who knows the Pat McAfee show knows colorful language is about. But he says, I have a total crash after being in front of audiences. Like I go to hibernate in Saskatchewan. The anxiety it takes me a few days to recover. It's been that way, and I get nervous around people, and I'm awkward as all get outs. That was a decolorization. But he's like, I summon up enough. He basically says I summon up enough strength to go out and put on a show, and then I come backstage, and that's why people think that I'm really mean and hateful, because I don't want to talk to them because I just got done talking to thousands of people.
So I feel like that's how I would be if I was a professional wrestler.
Oh, 100%.
Leave it all out on the ring, come back, and I'm like, I gotta go hide somewhere for a while. Just please don't talk to me. Don't look at me in the eye.
You don't need to talk to me. You need to tell you talking to me? No. You got anything else fun?
No, that's all my news.
That's all that I've got. When we return, we've got a very fun game. So keep it here, the Two Word Podcast.
Hey everyone, I'm Hector Mirai, and this is Faith and Fandom 180 on LTN Radio. So Valentine's Day is once again come and gone, and I ended up with a gummy video game controller for Valentine's Day. It's almost the full size of a PlayStation 5 controller, but solid or squishy gummy. And while I first thought, man, that's cool, and then the second thought is, that's a lot of sugar. But then the third thought was that as I was looking at the packaging, I noticed that the gummy is held completely in a plastic casing. And my immediate thought, because if you've ever seen my booth at a Comic-Con or seen my posts online, outside of the books and stuff, I make candles. And my candles usually come from weird molds. Like I've got a BB-8 ice mold and a Death Star whiskey ice mold and stuff like that. I was like, man, if I do this right, I can make a candle that's almost the full size of a video game controller. And so I pulled the gummy controller out of the packaging, and I took a huge bite, put it in a Ziploc, and wiped it out. And I took the packaging into my little candle lab in my garage where I make candles, and started mixing some scents and colors and heating up the wax, but then starting to cool it slowly so that it didn't melt, because this thing is not made for candles. And my daughters are watching me, and they said, dude, what are you doing? This isn't something that you're supposed to be able to mold into this, and this isn't what this is meant for. And it just made me think back to this verse in Romans 9:20, where it says, on the contrary, who are you, mere man, that you are to talk back to God? Can an object that was molded say to the one who molded it, why did you make me like this? The reality is, I'm making some video game controller shaped candles, and they're pretty dope. But past that, we need to be able to learn to say, you know what, if God made us this way, he did it for a reason. He has the right to, and we should take joy and comfort in the fact that we're not accidental, that he made us how we are, and that as he created us, he looks on us with love. Remember to catch Faith and Fandom 180 every Wednesday morning on the Back Row Morning Show, only on LTN Radio. And if you'd like to learn more about Faith and Fandom, head over to faithandfandom.org, where you can learn about our Comic-Con ministry, podcasts, memes, apparel, and book series. You can even read new chapters before they make it to the next book. I'm Hector Mirai, and thank you for spending the last 180 seconds with me.
And welcome back to the Two Words Podcast. Sometimes in these second segments, we like to talk about specific things or get really, really specific about stuff. But today we're going to play a game. And it's a game I think we're going to have a lot of fun in. It is, I'm sure there's a shorter name for the game, but it's Guess That Wrestler in under 1 minute, asking as many questions as you'd like to ask. Game.
That's the perfect title for it.
That's a really good.
That's forever what
really
it's
good
called
title.
now. Okay.
So here's what the game will be. Matt and I will each take turns. We've got a list of professional wrestlers, and we've narrowed it down to Monday Night War wrestlers, because every wrestler that's ever existed, that would be just too many.
Right.
At least for right now.
I mean, even counting both promotions I'm saying during the Monday Night War, even counting just both promotions during the Monday Night War, that's still an impossibly large list of wrestlers.
So many wrestlers. So what we're going to do is we're going to give each other 1 minute, and we can ask as many questions as we'd like, and we have to try to guess who that wrestler is. Now, it's yes or no questions.
Right.
I think is the...
It's essentially like 20 questions, but
it's basically
timed instead of numbered.
It's timed because we're on a podcast that's timed and not numbered. So, Matt, would you like me to go first? Or to guess first? Or would you...
Yeah. No.
Was it a trick question?
Yeah, you can guess first. Okay. I'll let you guess first, yeah. I need a better timer though. So
I can set it. I can just hit the timer on my phone.
okay, you want?
I can time for you, and you can time for me.
Okay, so self-police the timing.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Am I guessing? What did we decide?
I thought I was guessing.
You're guessing.
Okay.
So you're gonna self-police your own
I'm
timer.
self-police my own timer,
Okay, so this is
and it makes a loud noise, so it's not like
this is honor system then too.
yeah, you'll all hear it.
Okay. All right, I got my first one.
Okay. All right. Is WCW or WWE?
That's not a yes or no question.
Was he WWE?
Yes.
Was he also WCW?
No.
Was he a cruiserweight?
No. No.
Was he a little person?
No.
A smaller guy? Was he WWE champion?
No.
Was he WWF champion?
No.
Was he Intercontinental champion?
No.
Was he ever a tag champion?
Yes.
Did he have long hair?
Yes.
A tag champion.
That's a good question.
White or blue? Was he white?
Yes. You watching your timer there?
Yeah, I've got 3 seconds. I am going to guess. I'm gonna guess Gangrel?
I'm as good a guess as any, but no. It was Al Snow.
Al Snow! Gosh! This game is going to be very difficult. Is that the hardest one you've got?
No, that was the easiest one.
Oh, gosh! Did he carry around a plastic head? Is that something I now have to ask? Mine are so much easier than that.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I really failed at the theme song one, so I was trying to redeem myself here.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so
All right, I'm supposed to do my own here.
0 points for me, I suppose.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Okay. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Was he WW or is it a girl or a guy? Or
Guy.
is it a guy? Sorry. Is it a guy? Yes.
It's a guy.
WWE?
No.
WCW?
Yep.
Ever hold a championship?
Yes.
Cruiserweight championship?
No.
Hardcore championship?
No.
Oh, it's the WCW. United States champion?
Yes.
WCW champion?
Yes.
Long hair?
No.
Ooh. Super heavyweight?
No.
Okay. Were they in a stable?
No.
No. That really screws me up there because almost everybody was in a stable at WCW. Not long hair. Oh my gosh. Was he white?
Yes.
Was he in the tag team?
No.
Did he have a gimmick?
No.
Did he just wear trunks?
Yes.
Was he ever in ECW?
No.
Drawing a legit blank now. Oh gosh. Was it Goldberg?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's the only guy I could think of that
I was
wasn't
sitting
in
there
a
going
stable.
like, there's no way he's not going to get Gulp.
Like Goldberg.
And the only reason I
Not a
questioned
stable.
United States champion was because it was like the WCW World Heavyweight United States champion or something
Oh, weird.
for a while, wasn't it? Wasn't the W?
It might have
was a
been.
weird. It was a weird championship. No, yes, WWE, WCW, and WWE superstar Bill Goldberg.
So I did go over my minute by about 10 seconds for that last question.
That's fine.
But then the rest of that pause was just me getting to that last question.
I'll allow it.
I'm going to go ahead and let's switch up and do our own timing. Because I can't focus on my timer and the thing.
Okay.
And I think it'll be easier for you too.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm gonna move this slightly. Just don't look at that.
I will not look at. I will not cheat.
I am. Okay. All right, are you ready?
Yep.
Go.
WCW.
Yes.
Was he also WWE?
Yes.
ECW.
No.
Guy or girl? Guy. Okay. Cruiserweight.
Yes.
Hispanic.
No. I don't think. No.
White.
I think so.
Was he Intercontinental Champion?
No.
Was he Cruiserweight Champion?
Yes.
Was he in a tag team?
He was. I'll say like not always.
Did he wear a mask?
No. 15 seconds.
Was he from Texas?
I do not know that question.
Did he? Oh nope! Don't answer that. Don't ask that question. I almost got really. Is he being ignored by the WWE Hall of Fame?
I don't. Okay, so that was your last question in the minute,
Okay.
and I don't know if I would categorize it as being ignored, but I'm sure that he could one day be in it.
Was it Chris Benoit?
It was not.
Was it Dean Malenko?
But that's a good. No, it wasn't any of the rest.
Those are the only two.
I had Billy Kidman.
Billy Kidman. He was in a lot of stables.
Yeah, he was. He bounced all around, and he's still wrestling.
Billy Kidman, who looked
He's not still wrestling. I'm sorry. He's still with the WWE.
Yeah, Billy Kidman, who looked like a very small Bret the Hitman Hart.
He did. He's white, right?
He is white.
Now that I'm thinking about it, he could have just been like
He is white.
could have been a half white, half black, and or not half black, half white, half Hispanic, and not be able to tell. All right.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I am ready.
Okay.
All right. And go.
Is it a guy?
Yes.
WCW?
No.
WWE?
Yes.
ECW?
No.
Cruiserweight?
I think technically, but he never wrestled in cruiserweights.
Okay. Long hair?
Yes.
Did he have a gimmick character?
No.
Was he in a stable?
Yes.
Was he in a tag team?
Yes.
Was that stable D-Generation X?
Yes.
Was that tag team the New Age Outlaws?
No.
Okay, so this was either Triple H or Shawn Michaels. So what's a Triple H?
No.
Was it Shawn Michaels?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, with 20 seconds to spare.
Those were a bunch of easy questions.
That was a really good.
I feel really bad for my last one now. It was really hard. Oh, man. Next time I won't make this so difficult.
No, next time I'm going to make it more difficult.
More difficult, okay. Next time I'm not going to put your favorite wrestler on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
All right.
Good idea.
My last one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
That you're guessing. My last
Okay.
on my
Okay.
list.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah. Guy was a guy.
Guy.
Okay. Long hair.
No.
WCW.
Yes.
WWE.
Yes.
ECW.
Not that I know of.
Did he have multiple gimmicks?
No.
Did he have any gimmicks?
No.
It's not Mick Foley.
No.
Was he white?
No.
So he was black.
Yes.
You said he did have long hair?
No.
No long hair. Is he a movie star now?
No.
Okay. Is he a former power lifter?
Possibly.
Well,
but not the one you're thinking of. Also, he had long hair.
Did he have tattoos?
I don't think so.
Was he in the Acolytes?
No.
Okay. Did he have a locomotive of sultry women?
No.
Okay. A black guy that wrestled for WCW and WWF.
He started in
Was he
WWF.
WWF champion?
No.
Was he Intercontinental champion?
Yes.
Was he World Heavyweight champion?
No.
Wasn't like Stevie Ray?
No, but you're getting closer.
Was it Booker T?
You're getting closer.
I don't know anybody else in Harlem Heat.
All right. He had feuds with both Harlem Heat and the Nation of Denomination. He also had both a tag team with and fought against The Undertaker.
I have no idea.
This is, Ahmed Johnson.
Ahmed Johnson. Boy, howdy.
Which is a name I completely forgotten about until I looked up
Monday Night War.
Monday Night War wrestlers. Where are they now? Kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's 2-0, and you got one more shot.
I'm sorry, John.
It's okay.
I feel so bad.
I'm having
so
fun.
far.
I am having fun at least. So, there's that.
Okay.
Our listeners are having fun as well, I'm sure. All right. For your last Guess the Wrestler, your minute starts now.
Is he a boy?
Yes.
He's a boy. WWE.
Yes.
WCW.
Yes.
ECW.
Yes.
Holy cow. Long hair.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
WWE champion.
No.
World heavyweight champion.
No.
Intercontinental champion.
No.
Tag champion.
Yeah.
Cruiserweight champion. Hardcore champion.
None of those.
Okay. Did he ever hold two titles at once?
No.
Okay, so it's not Chris Jericho.
He was a tag champion and a heavyweight champion in one of his promotions. I should
Okay.
walk that back.
Okay. Was he part of the Radicals?
No.
Did he defect before WCW was bought?
No.
Dang. Okay. My guess.
I'll give you this hint because you gave me hints last time. He had essentially the exact same stable in every promotion he went to, but with different people. But it was essentially the same thing.
What? Essentially the exact same stable in every promotion he went to. Was it Raven?
Yes! Goodness!
That was a good hint. Because that's
was.
literally I'm like Raven's flock.
Raven's flock,
That's
Raven's
like the only thing I
nest.
could think of that like just followed him around.
And when you started asking about promotions, I'm like, he literally wrestled for TNA too. So
Wow.
he's wrestled for everyone. He was a Juggalo Championship Wrestling
What?
tag team champion.
I'm not sure that you should have counted that.
That doesn't count.
Okay, I really enjoyed that game.
I really enjoyed that
Not
game too.
Just because I won.
No, I had fun with it.
Because I clearly was given too easy.
You did get some easy ones.
And I was clearly too rough.
I just feel like the last several times we've played these games, we've both gone on the attack for each other.
Yeah.
And it's always failed.
Yeah, but you did better than me in the music one.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I think I had two that I could have sworn you would never remember, and you got them.
Yeah.
The only one you didn't get, I think, was the oddities.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we had fun, and we hope you have fun. If you'd like to play that, if you'd like us to play that game again, let us know, and throw out some wrestlers that we can try to stump each other with, because I'm sure there's quite a few out there. When we get back, we're talking about little guys. Keep it here.
This week in Nerd History, up, and away too much money.
Nerd history.
Action Comics #1 is the most famous comic book in existence, with currently only between 50 and 100 editions left in the world. This comic book is largely regarded as the start of the superhero genre of comic books, showcasing several new heroes, the most notable being none other than Superman himself. Seeing as pretty much everything we know and love about superheroes today is owed to this book, speaking as someone who had to go see Spider-Man No Way Home in the theater twice because it was so amazing, you can see why this would be a valuable book. But on February 25th, 2010, it would break a record, selling for $1.5 million. In fact, it would keep breaking records, selling again in 2017 for $1.75 million, in 2018 for $2.052 million, and in April of 2021 for $3.25 million. While it is estimated that possibly 100 still exist, few are known to be in near mint condition, like the copies sold for millions. They are truly a sight to behold. Just make sure you're buying the right Action Comics #1. In September of 2011, DC Comics canceled all of its monthly books for a relaunch called The New 52. This included ending the original 73-year run of Action Comics with issue 904. The first issue of Action Comics Volume 2 went on sale on September 7th, 2011, with a cover date of November 2011. 5 years later, another reboot of the franchise, DC Rebirth, saw much of the New 52 retconned or folded into the comic continuity we were familiar with from before. This also restored the original numbering of some comic series, including Action Comics, which released Action Comics Volume 1, issue 957 after Rebirth, leaving the last Volume 2 issue with the number 52. In retroactive backlists, these 52 issues have been renumbered to fit within Volume 1, thus making Action Comics Volume 2 #1 instead Action Comics Volume 1 number 905. Of course, I'm going to hold on to my Volume 2 #1 issues just in case. I'm Radio Matt. See you next time for more
Nerd history.
And welcome back to the Two Words Podcast, where we're talking about little guys. You know, and when we're talking about little guys, you have to kind of understand that even the little guys were pretty big dudes.
big, yeah. Most of the cruiserweights were like still close to 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of forget when putting this list together.
Yeah.
You forget that that Eddie Guerrero was a cruiserweight.
Yeah. Yeah, quite a few.
And how tall was Eddie Guerrero? How tall was...
See, it feels like he was short. I feel like
he was tall.
Yeah.
Eddie Gadd. I was glad Google popped up because I'm not sure I knew how to spell it. He was 5'8".
5'8". Okay, yeah.
Shorter than me.
About what I thought.
Rey Mysterio's 5'6". Chris Benoit Chris Benoit was 5'11".
Now I would have guessed Eddie Guerrero was taller than Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit was big, but he muscular, but he looked like someone had
Chris Benoit
put him in a waffle maker.
Chris Benoit looked like a microwaved hot dog. And he wrestled like one too. No, he didn't. He was he was fantastic. In fact, he was the one I was trying to ask, like, is he being avoided in the...
Yeah.
The first question I was going to ask was not nearly as nice. I put his name on the list, and Hillary's like, "You're going to talk about Chris Benoit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not the WWE. I'll talk about him all I want." But why were little guys so much fun to watch?
Okay, so I thought about this question very deeply for a long time.
Very deep.
And my answer is that it's because they are the circus. They are the high-flying, acrobatic, working without a net people that just make you go, how'd they do that? They're so fast and can do so many weird flippies and twisties that just nobody else can do.
Yeah, I remember, watching, even as soon as like watching like Ricochet.
Yeah.
Like, that dude just moves so
quick.
You can't even hardly tell what they're doing, but it's almost like the closest you can get to somebody doing what your action figures do.
Yeah. Right? Or, I mean, comparatively, like, compared to superheroes, compared to the Justice League, they're the Flash. And that is the appeal of the Flash. He's fast, quick, and got some cool moves that the bigger guys can't do. Because the bigger guys are mostly muscle. Yeah, it's a whole different genre of person.
Yeah. So was there a like a better cruiserweight division?
I really think WCW's cruiserweight division was.
I don't think you can argue that.
Yeah, was the best.
I mean,
it just they put a lot of stock in that division. Yeah, early on they made it an attraction, and because they pretty much kicked it off with 3-hour nitros, they had time to fill because back then that was unheard of. Yeah, and they had time to fill, and so they actually filled it with quality matches with wrestlers that you might not otherwise see because they're not going to be main eventers most of the time. And it built up a lot of cool stables. They featured, some luchadors, which really hadn't been cross-promoted all that much with, in fact, I don't think at all with WWE at that point. At that point, the only, talent from other, parts of the world that I remember is, Tajiri or whatever they were. Yeah. Taka Funaki and Taka and Funaki. That's who I'm thinking of. Not Tajiri. Tajiri's relatively new. Kai and Tai. That was the name of the stable.
Jushin Liger.
Oh, yeah.
Like those guys. Yeah. Definitely. Let's look up the WCW Cruiserweight division because it was... I mean, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko,
Eddie Guerrero,
Chris Benoit, Chavo Guerrero, Chris
Jericho was in that.
Chris, that guy.
X-Pac or Six over there.
You can call him whatever you want.
He's got 4 names.
Brian Pillman.
Was in there.
Was one of the first. I did not even realize that. Mm-hmm. Greg Helms.
Yeah. Ooh, Greg Helms. I love him. But then over the WWF at the time, they had Gilbert be their cruiserweight champion for far too long. So they wasted their cruiserweight championship to make a joke about the most popular wrestler at the time for a long time. Yeah. At WCW, anyway. Yeah.
Well, and then even the last of that cruiserweight championship because it was brought over. It was Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
And that's who retired that championship.
Dumb. Now they did try. WWE made a good college try with the 205 Live new cruiserweight thing. I just don't think it ever really took off. And so because it wasn't immediately popular, it just became a back burner show like Main Event or whatever else.
It was a time thing.
Yeah.
because like I'm not going to watch another show.
Yeah. Oh,
especially following SmackDown. Like I'm not going to watch a show after I've watched a show. And they pretty much, and I don't like TJP. I know a lot of people
I
did.
don't understand why you don't like TJP.
I think everybody knows why I hated TJP. It was the dab.
I loved the dad.
I hated it.
I loved his music. I loved his entrance. I loved his whole deal.
His music. One time I was driving and this commercial and radio came on for like an arcade in Amarillo, and they were using his theme song. But they had talent. Because they had Rich Swann, who went on to become Impact champion, and Cedric Alexander, Noam Dar was good. Neville. I mean, you had a lot of talent, but you never really had anything that attracted people to it until
they sent Enzo over.
Until they sent Enzo over
to stir the water, stir the pot.
And that lasted 45 minutes.
It did. I mean, it was a fun little detour. It was a funny story, but the problem was because 205 Live was such a small kind of sub promotion, it was the only story.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like one story in the midst of an entire promotion. It was the only thing they did for weeks. And so that, it almost felt like just a running YouTube show. Like it didn't feel, I feel like it was something, additional.
Like you were being invested in.
Yeah. It's like they sent SmackDown basically to invade 205 Live for a while. That's essentially what it felt like, because they didn't know what to do with Enzo anymore, because they decided Big Cass was going to be his own thing. And so they split one of the best tag teams, or at least most entertaining heated tag teams up, and then ruined them both, and they got fired.
Well, I
guess Cass kind of ruined it himself.
Yeah,
so.
I think.
Well, Enzo too. They both kind of did. They both kind of caused the problems themselves.
Yeah, they were both kind of their own problems. The 205 Live division, it killed Austin Aries' career.
Yeah.
Or tried to. I don't know what he's doing now. But
it killed.
He should have come in with so much heat. And then he just didn't.
Yeah. But prior to 205 Live, I really feel like WWE, WWF never really cared about the division for more than a hot minute at any given point. They constantly played hot potato with the belt, and giving it to a lot of people that don't even qualify. They gave it to 3 different women for some reason. Like it had never been set up that it was an intergender title, but they're like, well, these women technically qualify because that's what they weigh, so they can beat up our tiny men in the cruiserweight section.
Buddy Murphy.
That's
heaviest 205 Live champion. Roderick Strong. Might have been Roderick Strong we were thinking of.
That was the one that came in and got it the other week. But yeah, it's sad. And I think it's clearly because it's been, widely reported for years that Vince McMahon doesn't care about little guys. He doesn't want little guys. He wants big sweaty men. He wants meat. He wants meat on meat action.
Which is so crazy, because his company would be nothing if it weren't for Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart.
For real.
Showing what could be done.
Real, man.
So it doesn't really, and I also think that it's so much that they changed the ring ropes, and they changed the color of the lighting, and they changed everything, and so it was like 205 is its own separate show, whereas WCW just okay, we're having a cruiserweight match,
right? It's like, okay,
we're barely even bringing attention to
there's cruiserweight matches.
Yeah. So I don't know, but who was your favorite little guy?
Okay,
so some of the best little guys.
Just like with the big guys, I have a best, and then I have a bunch of runners up.
Yeah.
So my best little guy is Rey Mysterio Jr. That's officially his name, but Rey Mysterio. Not the son on WWE right
now.
Not Dominic.
Mysterio.
I feel like you're hard pressed to find anyone else who will fit that. He's been not only one of the longest running, main eventer, cruiserweights, but he's been in all those spots. He's been in the main event for a long time. He's played everywhere he can play, every role he can play, and he is still incredibly, amazingly athletic. So much so that he accidentally killed the guy.
Yep.
I mean, if you're talented, no, sorry, that's morbid. I shouldn't make that joke.
That was a little bit.
But I mean, it's the dude has been all over the place. He's wrestled for almost every promotion that'll have him, and been a big star pretty much everywhere, especially down in Mexico in Lucha Underground and stuff like that. I mean, it's just there's no.
Well, he was so good, or he is so good. I say was.
Right, he's still going, man.
But he's so good, like, he wrestles the big guys without a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he puts on phenomenal matches with The Undertaker. Or he put on phenomenal matches, against Edge.
Yeah.
And he put on, like, phenomenal matches. Because there was that time in WC, or in SmackDown, right after the Monday Night Wars, where it was like, Ray and Eddie were in a tag team, and I think like Benoit and Angle were in a tag team.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then you had Edge and Christian, and it was like these guys just like, it's like you could pretty much do all of them in tag matches or all of them in singles. It didn't really matter.
Didn't really matter.
I mean, Rey Mysterio wrestled the worst big guy of all time and made it look pretty okay in the Great Khali.
He wrestled the Great Khali. I don't
Pretty sure he wrestled the Great Khali.
Maybe that
one too. Maybe that was just a video game.
Was he your number one too?
He is my number one on the list.
Yeah.
I also have Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels is my favorite guy. I know he's not a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
I know that he is probably a little big for the cruiserweight stuff.
Yeah, I went ahead not putting him on my list.
But I think he's important because he did really show, like, okay, there's something other than Hulk Hogan and Big John Studd, and there's something other than these big beef guys that were out there. So I have Rey Mysterio at number one, and Shawn Michaels right there. Chris Benoit, though, also, I know we've talked a lot about him, and I know that there's controversy surrounding him, but you can't deny ability.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't erase his athletic history. Like, I mean, objectively, it was good in a vacuum.
And if your brain was scrambled eggs, you might be a little messed up too.
Yeah.
Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick.
I love Drake Maverick. I think he did everything that a little guy was supposed to do. And just, he's fantastic for me.
Okay. Is that all your list?
Oh, I've got several on the list. Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan was one of the most recent to like bring back the little guy versus big guys kind of thing with the B plus player.
He was the new Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, definitely. Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
And Marco Stunt, who is 12. I have to believe he's only 12. Marco Stunt is... How old is Marco Stunt? We're just Googling everything today. How old is if he's like 40... How old is Marco Stunt? Marco Stunt's 25?
25? I mean, he might as well be 12.
He looks like a cast member on the revamped Hannah Montana.
Sweet Life with Zach and Cody.
I mean... Really? I love Jungle Boy because he's the smallest dude almost teamed with the biggest guy on the roster.
Right.
Absolutely loved that. My wife loved Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
I forgot all about Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Where is he at? Is he still, he's not in NXT anymore, is he?
He was doing MMA for a while.
Was
there.
I love Gentleman Jack Gallagher. That was a fun gimmick. Faux show. I've got Shane Helms on here, who was the last WCW Cruiserweight champion when the company was bought. Hurricane Helms. I loved the Hurricane Helms gimmick. I got X-Pac on here. previously known as Six, previously known as the Lightning Kid, previously known as the 1-2-3 Kid.
He really just did everything, didn't he?
X-Pac was fun. X-Pac was just a fun guy. And he might be coming back to wrestle.
X-Pac?
He's cleared to wrestle now.
We didn't talk about Stone Cold coming back to wrestle.
Oh, yeah, we didn't. We didn't mention that at all in our news segment. Stone Cold's coming back,
We're
guys.
terrible news people.
He's going to wrestle somebody. He's going to wrestle Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Stunner versus Stunner.
That ought to be fun. There was actually, I read something that he was going to come back in 2005. And when he found out that he was going to lose the match they wanted him to come back with, he was like, nah, I got a neck injury.
So here's something you might not have heard. And it's still kind of in rumor territory, but it's coming from the same guys that were letting out the rumor that he was coming back at all before it was pretty much confirmed. Is that it's not just a one-off match. It's going to be similar to a Goldberg thing where he's going to be basically contracted for 3 or 4 matches over the next year.
That's
So depending on how well that first match goes will depend on whether or not that's a good thing. Because the dude's in his 50s.
Yeah. Well, and there's just like recent pictures of him with his shirt off, and he just doesn't look.
Right.
He's definitely not the shape he used to be.
Definitely
in,
not
which,
the
I mean, I'm nobody to tell somebody if they're in shape or not. Definitely that. But I'm excited for that. That'll be fun.
It'll be nostalgia if nothing else.
Gentleman Jack Gallagher signed a deal with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship.
Ooh,
Yep.
That's a man right there. My gracious.
That's the promotion where the owner came out after a fight and was like, neither of these guys are getting paid because it wasn't interesting enough. Like they're both sitting on the side like bruised knuckles and they're all bloody. It's like, I'm not even getting paid for this.
More of my list of the best little guys. I've got Chris Jericho on here, Billy Kidman, the Brian Kendrick, Eddie Guerrero,
who has gotten in some trouble lately.
Yes, he has. Chavo Guerrero, Ultimo Dragon, Tajiri, Cedric Alexander, Kalisto. I got Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin,
You forget Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin.
and Pac on here, which is just Neville.
Yeah.
Pac. When he's around.
Do you have any little guys other than TJP that you hated?
That I hated?
Yeah. Or that you didn't like?
Oh, yeah.
Give me some guys.
Okay, well,
'Cause I had a hard time coming up with that list.
It's definitely less. And some of them aren't quite their fault. Some of them are like, I hated their character and what they did with what WWE made them do. But they probably
Not that I
could have been
hate
good.
you, it's
Right.
just hate what I've become.
But of course, number one is Hornswoggle for me. Hornswoggle should not. Had he stayed out of the cruiserweight picture, I wouldn't put him on this list. But the fact that this might not be his fault. This is probably WWE's fault. But I don't think he should have been on there whatsoever.
I was trying to explain Hornswoggle versus El Torito to my wife the other day. And when you say it out loud, it's like, yeah, there was a dwarf and he was in the ring and there was a guy dressed like a bull and then there were some masked matadors and 3 rock stars. And they all just that was that.
And it was a fight. So runners up, I've got Disco Inferno. Please tell me you remember Disco Inferno.
I do remember Disco Inferno. Yeah.
It was awful.
Yeah, it was
Hated
bad.
every time he was on TV. I have Christian. And I know this is... Hold on. I have Christian on here just for his cruiserweight time. And again, this is not his fault. He was booked so horribly. He held the title very unceremoniously. It was taken from him very unceremoniously. His run in the cruiserweight division was just a hot pile of stinky doo-doo. It was terrible, terrible to watch. It was so unentertaining, unenthused. It made me sad for Christian that he was even in this position. Every other thing that Christian has done has been...
But isn't that
phenomenal.
Christian's career is just that could be his autobiography, unceremonious, because they just never really gave him that spot to shine, except
That's
for
true.
some of the tag team stuff.
We got Gilbert up on here.
I forget that you count Gilbert.
I count Gilbert because he was a champion, man. I think the guy is funny. The fact that he's just like some janitor from somewhere that gets called upon every now and then for this gimmick, I think it's funny. I don't like that they wasted so much time with him having the title for no dumb reason.
Yeah.
I got Lenny Lane on here, which was
Lenny Lane,
Lodi's partner.
Yeah.
Who had the title when they were like a team, and everyone thought that they were homosexuals, and people got upset about that. And really, the storyline was that they were going to be brothers that just like were affectionate with each other. And but before they could even get to that reveal, WCW was forced to take them off the TV.
Glad.
And so
took
he
it
had
down.
had his title stripped from him.
We should call Lodi.
Akira Tozawa's on here. Again, it's probably not his fault. I just don't like the way he was booked or used.
He was booked great until they were like, "Hey, he's Asian. Let's make him a ninja."
Until that, essentially. Yeah.
Let's put him with the Foot Clan.
I got Enzo on here because, again, he shouldn't have been there. I got Nunzio, which was you remember that Italian-American stereotype guy?
Yeah.
Who I think he held the title for all of 12 days. And then I put Jacqueline on here, too. But one I didn't put on here was someone who's not technically a cruiserweight. And because of that, he was stripped of the title like the next night. And this was WCW's character making fun of Jim Ross, Oklahoma. He was a cruiserweight champion for less than 24 hours.
Yep. We let that happen. We just sat back and watched.
There was a lot to hate about the Monday Night War era. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, there was a lot of
We only really remember the great stuff, and that's all they really put in like the big specials of the WWE network about the Monday Night Wars. But if you go back and just watch those old Raws, whew,
somebody should put together like a worst of times.
There's got to be a YouTube channel. It's like the worst of
just dedicated to that.
But that's all my lists of everything. What about your list? Who's your worst?
I mean, really, I just didn't like TJP. I'm pretty close. I really just.
Come on.
I just
can't
couldn't
have
do it,
that. He's your worst little guy.
I just couldn't stand him.
He was like the.
And maybe because I'm a disgruntled old man. I get it.
He was like the male. Oh, she's been gone so long, I've forgotten her name. Bailey. It's like the male Bailey. You're just super excited to be there and having a good old time.
Yeah, I
really miss classic Bailey.
Yeah, I'm pretty on par with your list. There was a lot of that in WCW. The problem was they always tried to make fun of each other.
Yeah.
And it always fell very flat.
Yeah.
And so,
but for the most part of my list, like I said, half of the people on my very shorter list of worst were really just came down to booking issues and timing that the company was more responsible for than the character. And so, really, what that says to me is that the cruiserweight divisions pretty much everywhere can hold their own.
Yeah.
Like, they are pretty entertaining. They are pretty good if they're given the care.
And I think that's why I don't have a list of worst. I mean, I know I'm the one that asked for a list of worst, but I mean, really, I started writing it down. It's like,
you didn't expect it to be hard. It was a lot harder.
There wasn't really anybody. I mean, like, and even I joke about TJP because of the dab, but I mean, he was great to watch. You know, like. Do
we count Mustafa
Ali?
Wasn't he technically a cruiserweight?
He was from the cruiserweight.
Wasn't he on 205? I'm pretty sure he was on 205 Live with that weird little circle thing.
Yeah,
on his hand,
like Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
supposed to be that.
And then they brought him up to be head of the Retribution.
And then they canned him.
Did you know that there was a legitimate push to make Vince McMahon head of Retribution?
That would have
essentially been him, but it would just be a repeat of the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah.
It was me, Mustafa.
It was me all along. Yep. Nope.
It was me, great. Paul Levesque.
Yeah. Me, Hunter. Yeah, well, you know what? That's our show. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope, we want to hear from you. Give us your favorite little guys. Head on over to our social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at 2WordsLTN and let us know what you think. And we will be back in a couple of weeks with a fun run of shows. Because we're going to be talking about like WCW this season, some old Monday Night War stuff. We're going to be talking about, I think we're going to talk about New Japan even.
Ooh.
We might not talk about New Japan.
I know very little about New Japan.
Maybe we'll do maybe at the end of the season, we'll do let's just talk about the stuff we don't know enough about to pull a whole show.
Just a whole show of us Googling things.
It's just
and reading Wikipedia.
The Google show. That could be some content for us. It's just, hey, let's Google stuff.
Our 2 words this week, Google it.
Google it.
There we
Look
go.
it up. Ask Jeeves.
I miss Jeeves.
I do too.
As soon as they got rid of Jeeves, that whole search company just went under. Like, we don't need Jeeves anymore. Jeeves is a gimmick. Let's just be ask.com. That's concise. Like, nobody ever went there again.
My company's in the same group as a website where you asked a fake butler to Google things for you. Well, that's it for us. Is there anything I'm missing?
Nope.
I don't think so. Like I said, head over to our socials at 2WordsLTN. Give us a like, and we will be back in a couple of weeks. But until then, my name's John. His name's Matt. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Did you have a good time tonight, buddy?